We are live. Blessings and love, everyone. Welcome to the Divine Union Alchemy Masterclass. My name is Lucas Diamond. My beloved, my wife Saskia Diamond, is putting our beautiful daughter to rest, to sleep, to take her beautiful nap, as our nanny wasn't able to come today. And those of you on Zoom got to see her and got to wave to her. She's she's a mighty presence of love, that's for sure. And we're just so honored to have her as our daughter. She's brings incredible wisdom that we have to submit and surrender to that 0 point, that still point, in order to tune into that and receive and commune with her. And I mean, that's how it is for everyone. We all carry such great wisdom and divine presence. And the only way to receive each other is by surrendering through that still point, through that 0 point, where we're willing to just absolutely be devoted to the crucible of love and give everything so that we can receive and give from that presence. So, welcome everyone. We have so much to share with you. We're so delighted to be with you. And we have people from all around the world, from UK, Mexico, Vancouver, Canada, New Jersey, Spain, Maui, Holland. And so we're just honored that you are spending this time with us, and we're just in love with the experience of sharing this work with others. Everything that we've seen has just lit our hearts on fire with our divine purpose. Part of our mission codex is to bring this forward, and I'll share more about that in a moment. But let me set the field with you, and the way I want to do it, let's just start with a little music. Getting in a comfortable position, we'll set the space together. And as you close your eyes, I'm going to invite you to place your palms face up on your lap as you begin to call yourself to yourself. And begin to sink your energy into the earth and feel your connection to the earth. And as you gather that earth energy up through your legs, up through your central column, you might hear the sounds in the background in your own home, or the roosters of Kauai here. Allow all sounds to bring you more deeply into communion with your inner essence. I'm going to invite you to open your heart. And as you open your heart, you expand the frequency of self-love to every cell of your body. Expand your energy up even beyond the space you're in, beyond the atmosphere of the earth, beyond the galaxy, and converge with the highest plane, the plane of Source, God, Heaven, your higher self, and intend with your intention for your higher self to ground into your body, and visualize a pillar of light anchoring down from the highest realm into your crown, activating your pineal gland in the middle of your brain, descending down all the way through your body, grounding into the earth. And then rise that energy into your heart. As you feel the wisdom of the heavens, wisdom of the earth merging in your heart, opening the secret gateway in your heart where your soul and Source, God, the Divine, meet. Where your essence and Creator of all that is meets. There is that sacred, holy place within your heart. With your intention, breathe into that place and activate that communion. And with all your focus and your intention, surrender any ideas, questions, longings, resistances, fears, identifications, and do your best to submit, surrender, relax, allow, receive that which is already there. The fullness of that which has been bestowed to you, that which has been gifted to you, your essence, which contains the blueprint of union, divine union, wholeness, wellness, joy, overflow, surplus, prosperity, genius, brilliance. It's already part of you. It's always been in you. Just inviting you to allow that to emerge. And we're creating now a temple of divine union to surround all of us now, listening in the live or in the recording. And we're calling forth this sacred pillar from the heart of God, Source, Spirit, the highest realm, into the core of the earth. As we invoke that divine presence, Creator of all that is, we invoke our higher selves, and we create a command together that only energies and support teams that have our highest and best in mind and heart, that work through the highest will of creation, the highest love, that are for our highest and best, may be present. All other interferences, distortions, distractions, interferences of any kind, trackers, remote viewers, are removed from our temple space, so that we can create a safe zone to activate and awaken together. If this resonates, say yes. And if you give myself and my beloved Saskia permission to connect with you and to also work on you on all levels for your highest and best, and only for your highest and best, through your higher self's will, filtration, and guidance, I also invite you to say yes. This is completely optional. It's only if you feel comfortable allowing us to connect with you on that deeper level. And so we're entering this inner space together, this inner space where we want to give ourselves permission to allow an activation of who we are in that divine union frequency to emerge and energetically entrain our nervous system and our cells to that frequency of uniting with the source of all life, the frequency of communion, the frequency of wholeness that emerges, the deepest reverence and devotion and gratitude and love that is a natural offspring from the revelation of who we are, what we've been gifted, what we're connected to, and the bounty and the magnificence of that. And so allow yourself to surrender into the mysterious receptivity of your inheritance, of your original quintessence. As we fortify this space, we bring forth some of the architecture, the first layer architecture of divine union to support everyone who's just moving to the next level, the next octave of embodiment of that union. And there might be internal belief systems, wounds, aspects. There might be external energies, beings, forces that are afraid or don't want you to accept and claim and embody all that you are. And that's fine. Whatever is external, they can do what they're going to do. Whatever is internal, we can hold, embrace, and re educate into the truth and the safety of allowing ourselves to be all that we are. And we're creating a bridge to the next level of accepting who we are, allowing who we are, not from a mental cognitive place, but from the deepest part of our hearts and our souls. What does it feel like to feel safe? To not only be who we are, but to reveal who we are energetically. And so we're creating this safe space now. And we're downloading into the field what it feels like to be safe in this space, in this moment, with each other, to reveal who we are, to remove any cloaks, masks, protective mechanisms, hiding, procrastination, to just show up with one another in this sacred, connected community energetically, to reveal who we are in all our love, humility, glory, and divine pride, casting off all old hierarchies, all old false submissions to false gods and energies, and we're just showing up in our full sovereignty, embracing through a tone of equality the beauty of every soul who is converging in this temple of divine union here and now. We're asking that if there's any numbing shields, any blocks, anything that is ready to be lifted from our heart space, lifted from our crown, lifted from any part of our morphogenic field, so that we can truly embody and feel the aliveness of who we are and feel through any apathy or protective mechanisms. If you're willing to release those, or those that your higher self feels it is time to release, I invite you to say yes, either out loud or in your own heart and mind, and giving permission to open, feeling a downstream of, imagine a downstream of beautiful golden light flowing through your crown, entering into your heart, just opening and just releasing anything that's ready to just lift off you as you allow your heart to open even more, as you allow your crown to open even more, and as you allow your root to ground even more. We receive together through 1 to 2 minutes of stillness together. Aim to enter through the gateway beyond time and space into the still point, into the mystery, through your surrender, into the heart of communion. And we'll sit in that space for 1 to 2 minutes together now. Allowing everything that we've done in this meditation to ground, integrate, receiving anything else that you're meant to receive as you open your field to receive that which may support you on your path. We're grounding it in, integrating, sealing, completing this meditation, giving thanks. And so it is.
Hi everyone. So happy to be here with you all. I was just allowing our daughter to fall asleep, and thank you so much for guiding this beautiful, it's like an inner divine union activation to get into this beautiful frequency, this sacred inner sanctuary where our soul and God are deeply connected in peace and serenity.
The journey of divine union is the same thing as the full enlightenment path, the path of liberation, ascension, evolution, in the sense that we're asked to bravely feel through every heart wall, every block, every desire to escape, every desire to numb or source through external means, to uncover and repattern all the ways that we haven't been in integrity with our heart, all the ways we're trying to fill our own inner heartache with external means, people, addictions, and to break that all down until we're left truly humbled on our knees in devotional heart's willingness to commune, partner, unite with our source, our creator, our divine higher self, and in that process reestablish a newfound faith, a newfound spark, a newfound template to live life from that devotional flame and to pave a path daily from that place, and to trust in that by following the mission of our devotional heart, all that we desire will unfold and be brought to us as we take that bold action. And so that's just a glimpse into some of what we're going to go more into and share. But what I felt really tender in my heart when I opened my heart to feel into this group and those showing up through the live stream, I really felt the arduous and difficult, heart wrenching path that many of us have been on, and the way that many of us have experienced the backlash or the heartbreak of having those that we've loved, or even being raised in with parents who seem to become temporarily occupied by forces to attack us. So the process of wanting to show up here on this planet over many lifetimes with this deep love, with this desire to serve, with this purity and this innocence and this naivete, and then just bringing this to serve, and then having people not ready to receive us, having people who have certain layers of energies occupying them, who then respond to our love with hatred, with jealousy, with the type of attack that has often left us disheartened, hurt, confused, and this heartache sometimes was too much to bear, either as a child or in certain situations. And what happened is a numbing shield was placed on the heart, or in that moment, an aspect of us said, "This is too much," and then escaped into a realm and into a higher realm to kind of be more. Uh, there we are. That's for you. So I want you to track that in this moment. Where in your life was the pain so intense or so unbearable that you decided, okay, I'm going to go to Netflix, I'm going to go to my partner, girlfriend, mother, son, distract myself with my work, uh, use tobacco, use pornography, use this or use that. Or even do something very healthy. I'm going to go to a guru. I'm going to go, well, not healthy, but seemingly healthy. I'm going to go and go from workshop to workshop, or do the twin flame activation every day here. It's still, it's disguised as something healthy for you, but it's still a way where where the inner being is operating from a reaction to not wanting to feel a pain, and still seeking something to fill a void in a subtle, even the subtlest of ways. So I'm going to invite you to be really honest with yourself, to really scan where in your life perhaps are you still doing that, even in the subtlest of ways, when you feel the hint of an ancient heartache come up, or you feel something trigger you. What is your go-to? What is your vice that maybe you haven't seen was a vice into this moment? And the reason why I'm bringing this up is because this is one of the keys to attracting and maintaining and keeping your divine union, is going through this process and eradicating it. Before, when I say eradicating it, I mean self-sourcing to such a deep extent that those patterns no longer exist, that you have a new way of going internally to that fountain that we connected with, that fountain where your soul and source meet, in order to bring the exact frequency that you're longing for, that you perhaps didn't get when you were 7 or in that lifetime, which could be a father's love, which could be the love of a community or the safety. Whatever it is, you can source it, and we'll be going more into that. But what I want to share is that before I met Saskia, actually, both her and I, we went through very difficult and challenging, arduous journeys, getting tricked into self-sourcing externally, utilizing relationships, getting distracted in relationships. And Saskia was, maybe she'll share with you about her false twin flame journey that she was in for 3 years before she met me. And me personally, I was, even though I was very on a spiritual path and devoted to a certain degree, I was still utilizing a couple of things in my life to make the pain feel better that I wasn't yet ready to feel. And in that, I wasn't being in integrity with what my heart has always wanted. What has my heart always wanted? My heart, since I was a teenager, I knew I was coming into a sacred divine union in this life. And what that meant for me at the time, my understanding of it in my vision, in my meditation, because I had an awakening at 14. And then I knew that there was one particular soul that is part of my evolutionary quantum ascension path. Monadic mate, some people, all these names. I don't even want to go into the names because a lot of them have been convoluted. But I knew that there was one soul with my soul's name tattooed on her heart by the creator of all things, that we were finally going to converge, and that it was going to be a liberation process. I somehow knew in my heart. And it wasn't the Disney, indoctrination, but it was a soul stirring. And yet I still had so many woundings, and I was still connected to those grids that hijack our sexuality through the field, that I didn't have the understanding of how to embody a divine union to attract her in the right way. I had to go through a long, arduous process of how can I actualize and restore my inner union and get to that level of frequency and evolution that she can show up in my life. And I went through a long journey of discovering and figuring these things out, and then losing track and forgetting, and then losing hope and getting numbing shield, and just saying, and then experimenting with different things, and finally keep coming back to and keep getting the vision of really what my evolutionary path is connected to. It's connected to, yes, inner divine union and outer divine union. And the last thing I'll share is that it took me breaking down and getting really real and honest with myself about what my heart really wanted, and how I wasn't giving creator, the divine, my higher self, source, what I was wanting from a future beloved. Meaning, in my heart, I wanted the experience of devotion, of a true aligned devotion and alignment and loyalty and sacred harmonic field of just pure bliss, and choosing God together and then choosing each other through the natural unfolding of perfect architecture. I wanted that, yet I wasn't yet willing to give up the leftover remnants of my addictions to sourcing outside myself, to give all of that to the divine. And in going through that process, it really brought me into that humble space, and it clicked in and created this sacred protocol. And boom, there she showed up. And it's something that just can't be denied in the heart through the stillness. As you get better and better at converging through the gateway where time and space are, into that stillness, into that great mystery, into that communion, there's that knowing. And I'm sure you've glimpsed it, or you glimpse it often. Think about the times that you've converged and you know that you were one with life, with God, with your higher self. In those moments, everything is accessible. And in those moments, there is something that's true. And anyhow, That's the love that's always there and accessible, that has an evolutionary intelligence to come forth and create something marvelous on this planet through individuals, and then now most importantly through the unions that are coming together. Many of us, I'm talking too long, but this is the last piece, I promise, and then I'll let Saskia share from her heart. Is many of us came together long time ago when we first came to this planet, which may seem far out, but times of Lemuria, thousands and thousands of years ago and beyond, we came from higher realms together where we were already one, and we came onto this planet and we went through the separation process, and we got split apart, and all these levels of karma came between us, and we're coming back together. And the process of coming back together and converging and reuniting is liberating us from all the lifetimes of our experience here, so that we can fully activate the human angelic DNA, and then lift our light body and this template up into the next iteration of evolution, and of course create the new culture, the new civilization, the new architecture of living in harmony and omni-compassionate beauty. It emanates from the divine union template, that yes, you can activate as an individual, but there's something about a union coming together in the physical that creates these pillars that are bringing things that I couldn't have bring on my own, and then bringing the trinity of our child in, and then converging with other unions and building community. There's new layers of divine will anchoring through it all. It's such a beautiful path, and this path, it does begin with our inner union. It blossoms into our outer union, and it expands into the union with our monad, with our soul fam, and our union with our greater cosmic family, and then the anchoring of all of that together in divine creation. So with all that said, welcome to the Divine Union Alchemy Masterclass. I love you all, and I'm so happy that you're with us.
Yes, like Lukaisha already mentioned, I myself, and I know I'm not the only one, it's been something that's been happening to so many, especially women, also some men that, were targeted, through also what we have, what I call a collapsed devotional template, where we have been conditioned to seek for our fulfillment outside ourselves. So, I fell in that trap myself. And, like Lukaja mentioned, I went through like 3 years of being in a false twin flame relationship, of being constantly, in this kind of, roller coaster, and having my pain body activated, being collapsed in my pain body, having, this intense, like, just, triggers of abandonment, rejection, betrayal, constantly like collapse and shatter my heart. And then like was able to like use that as a catalyst for, through this deep pain, realizing like, what am I truly seeking? What is my heart, actually truly seeking? It's like, this devotion. It's like this true, pure divine love, that I started remembering I am worthy of. And I started to believe it is possible. This cannot be, it. And I started waking up from this spell. I started unweaving myself. And, even just hearing this word devotion started activating this soul blueprint that I have about, supporting others also. And of course, like first I took myself to like restoring my devotional template. And truly, from all these, just years that I took myself through this and deepened this, and, many clients, like devotion really is the gateway to our inner union. And our inner union is, absolutely correlating to the depths of our inner soul fulfillment and our liberation, of course, our emotional liberation, where we really can have this consistent, serenity and inner peace, because we're like resting in this inner heart chamber with God, this true inner divine union. And that truly for me was like a mind-blowing, literally mind-blowing, life-changing experience, like this a whole paradigm shift of exiting this old, what we kind of call the romantic relationship template, where we're it's literally the best way to describe it, in a visual, is like it's like a bi wave where it's just like two polarities, masculine and feminine, but there's like the third trinity polarity of God. The Godhead is missing in the equation, and this is like this kind of separation consciousness that's been like literally put into it's like a frequency they use to anti-hirogamic weaponry is real. They can blast this bi-wave frequency that just has like a polarity of masculine and feminine in battle. And that's kind of exactly what most people on this planet unfortunately have been stuck in, and living from this collapsed devotional template where it's God is missing in that equation. And it's because we can't actually source truly what we are seeking, what our heart is yearning from anyone before we've received it first within. It's like it's a recipe for feeling disappointed, unmet, hurt, betrayed, and all that. And nobody can actually truly give us what we're seeking if we're not actually open, remembering how to open our heart and receive it within. So, this is like this shift from this like bi-wave polarity, that never can fulfill us, to this tri-wave, trinity polarity that also is like resembled in this inner architecture of what we're, here to support, to rebuild. And this, like divine union really is the ascension, gateway, because, what we understand is, it's all part of an architecture in our light body that is getting rebuilt. So this is like how we downloaded our 5-step divine union alchemy process that we want to share and talk a little bit about. It all starts with this gateway of devotion. And devotion is here in our high heart, between the heart and the throat portal, here on the 8th chakra, the thymus gland. And it's a chakra that, even in the new age, they only speak about the 7 chakras, so they don't even mention this 8th chakra at all, because they don't want us to know about that. It's like this absolute most important 8th gateway that needs to be rebuilt to this purity, this devotion of really wanting, to, well, there's 2 elements to devotion. There's like the feminine aspect of devotion, where we open and trust God so deeply because we know that our deepest soul desires are one and the same with the divine will. And that's kind of like what helps us like open, surrender, and let go of this control that's always like blocking us in what we truly want to achieve. We think we can get it faster by using our control, but it's literally like slowing down, delaying us, because our human minds cannot be on that level of the highest divine intelligence and just pave the path for us. We have to understand that we don't have the control. The best we can do is really just allow ourselves to soften into that trust and surrender, so God can really align it all for us. And that is like the feminine aspect of devotion. The masculine aspect is this element of like this willingness to burn down every block, every false identity overlay, every false belief, no matter how uncomfortable it feels. And also really having this, there's many different layers to devotion. It's not just so easy to say like, okay, I'm devoted to God. Devotion has so many different aspects. We're still every day deepening our devotion. And it's like a miracle vortex, our devotion. It's what allows us the depths, the level. It's almost like the percent, or yeah, it's like an absolute correlation between like how pure our devotion is, how strong and pure, and how instantaneous, how miraculous we can receive the blessings that we're desiring. So yeah, like speaking about this architecture, so there's this architecture here through the high heart that gets activated when we start to really remember devotion. And that's what really brought a huge shift for me of remembering what true devotion is. And it allowed me to take the necessary steps. And well, first of all, it helped me really also remember what is my deepest soul desire. I truly want to be a vessel for the divine. And before any other soul desire, when we connect with this purity in our high heart, it reminds us that we actually truly want to, our heart is deeply yearning. It's like a thirst in our soul that we deep down know it can only be quenched by God, not first by anyone else. So we, that when we reach that level, we start to actually really seek that. It helps us cultivate, this inner divine union. And this is what then restores the architecture. The high heart here helps us bridge, into this, sacred emerald heart, where we start cultivating this inner divine union with God, source more. And it literally changed me from the inside out. Before I did not even realize that I was always seeking this, this love and this just bliss and peace, like externally. And for the first time, when I remembered how to really open my heart and receive it inside, and realize I have this infinite source right inside of me, it was the absolute like liberation. It was a whole paradigm shift of realizing like, wow, like this is what I've always been yearning for, and finding like this deep inner peace more and more the more I started like, spending, really like yearning to be in this inner still point with God and cultivating that. It, really recoded me from the inside out. And that's what also like helps like heal the wings, so that we have this architecture and light body that gets healed in the high heart. Then like, it connects, the high heart connects to the wings, here in our shoulders, where we have a lot of this ancient pain stored that Lukaisha mentioned, about the core causal timeline split with our beloved. Now that is, these are all elements of our 5-step process, this devotional template correction, then this like inner divine union in the heart. And then in the wings, we do a lot of like wing repair work, where, we realize like how important it is to address a certain amount, some of it can only be addressed in, the divine union itself with the beloved and God. But there's a certain level that we can also already, do in preparation to coming into divine union. Because if a certain level of trauma, of the deep like pain is not healed with God, it can really be a very strong repellent, because it can have shattered our heart. It can have made created like shame, or a feeling of hopelessness. There's a lot here in both the masculine right wing and the left wing, both like the victim consciousness, but also like any aspects of us that like blamed ourselves or God or our beloved, or just felt betrayed, or felt like this can never be restored. There's a certain level of faith and trust that needs to be restored. That's kind of like another one of these elements in our 5-step process. Yeah, like let me quickly mention the 5 steps briefly to give like an overview for better understanding when I bring one of these points up. So like the first one is, restoring the devotional template. And the interesting thing that I want to quickly add is, this 5-step process is not only, what we have realized is what we were shown, and from our lived experience and working, with many both divine union couples and clients that have been designed to finally, come into divine union, both within and then also external. Like this really is, somehow like the key to restoring this inner architecture that is, that really allows this natural magnetism, this frequency, to just align us to, receive it within and externally. And so, the first one, so like, yeah, that's what I wanted to add, is like this process is not only the same process for, attracting your divine union partner, but it literally is, exactly the same process that is used to harmonize the divine union. So that's like really beautiful realization that was came to us after we ourselves had to go to the fire as well. We both went through this, artist, an intense purification journey to even remember how to open this gateway of devotion and, be initiated into this inner divine union. And from that place, it accelerated so much that we both met each other, and our union really, it was the most magical way how we met. And that's like a whole other story. But ultimately, I just wanted to
Hmm.
quickly add that, what then happened is that, all this conditioned, like, kind of fairy tale, like, illusion that finally you meet your divine union partner and it's like sunshine and rainbows. Of course, we knew to a certain level it's not true, but we still had to, like, really have a lived experience of, like, how, you know sometimes humbling and how intense this journey can be. How you really it's not done once you come into divine union. You have to, like, really use this inner divine union and this devotion as these two gateways of constantly, as this trinity, with the Godhead. That's like what brought you together, and that's what you have to keep purifying every single day, deeper and deeper. So, in order that, when these triggers do show up, and that will happen in divine unions, because they are, here to mirror our deepest core wounds and bring healing, so that, instead of it, collapsing you, it will be absolutely, like, bringing, like, the deepest DNA purification and soul healing to you. So we were really, like, initiated into, like, downloading, like, a manual for ourselves. How can we harmonize our union? How can we live in this, like, heavenly bliss frequency more, and, dissolve more of these, like, separation overlays that were just only between our, like, our true soul has this perfect, like, a symphony of harmony that was forged in the heart of God. And that's, applies to all divine unions. That applies to everyone's, like, monadic counterpart that we all have. We all have, like, a certain level of the architecture that gets rebuilt, which then shows up as, our soul repairing, like, the first layers of the soul matrix, this inner divine union, which is us braiding already into our monadic consciousness. And that's what then, brings that into the physical. And so we all have that, but it's like we all have these overlays of personality identities that we took on through trauma, and that's the only kind of layers that live in separation, that have been pulled into certain phantom timelines, pulled off the organic path, pulled off, like, their, true soul, or kind of, like, created an overlay over this true soul essence. And that's what gets purified by using, like, this trinity, with God, so that there's always, like, this mirror that we don't, when we feel unmet inside, when our beloved cannot meet us, and that will happen because of this purification process, that we have a place to go to, and that is God. That's where we have to then, always go to, and really just always, when something shows up, that's, like, a number one thing that helped us. And that's really, one of the powerful steps for, any other, like, divine union couples that are also in this masterclass, that, helped us most, is that we always realized, when there was a trigger, when there was anything, in our pain body that got activated from a core wound, to first really deeply connect to our heart, like, what are we feeling? And then from the heart space of our emotional body, kind of having this emotional intelligence to understand, like, okay, so, for example, I'm feeling, like, disappointed or sad, and realizing, like, what is beneath that, kind of realizing what is the unmet desire underneath. And from that unmet desire, realizing, okay, this is what I'm truly needing. And if we cannot source it directly from our partner, realize, like, this is, like, our responsibility to source that straight from God. And that is kind of really, like, one of the most important keys to being, like, self-sourced, and shifting us out of this, like, codependency that is kind of the old relationship paradigm that creates so much separation.
Yeah, and so I just want to share a kind of synopsis and then
Mm.
give Saskia the mic back to speak about the different steps in actualizing that inner divine union to magnetize your true complement to you or harmonize with your union. There is that initiation to the point where you click into inner divine union and then start magnetizing your partner. Then when your partner comes into your life, there's another initiation, and that's the initiation of you and your partner going through the higher dimensional restoration of the union field and your true divine blueprint merging together. And the phenomena is the deeper that you merge in your union with each other, the more individuated and self-sourced you have to become. And so the subtle thing that happens through the way that our ancestors were in relationship through the whole codependency network that has hooked into everyone's wounding is that you come into union, your partner, it's like, yes, the wounded inner child says, finally I can get what I didn't get. Finally the place of longing can be soothed. And subtle unconscious patterns come up where there's a kind of wanting, there's an unconscious desire to fill with your union partner. And that's where the mastery comes in, as Saskia was mentioning, to have that emotional regulation where it's like, wow, a young aspect of me that didn't get this is starting to kind of pull it a little bit from the partner. How can I really give that to myself and still honor my desires and needs and articulate it from my wholeness? How can I work with myself to give myself what I need and then still give expression to my truth? And that's like this beautiful art form of creating this interdependence, spiritual sovereignty. There are moments where Saskia and I have to, like, if something gets triggered, we have to take a little space so that we can self-source and then come together from that place, um, and that harmonizes the field. And then we can get closer, and then we get to another initiation where we're integrating not only aspects of our inner child, which we have been working on even before we met, but we're talking about every, every this earth is like an integration station for every aspect of us, not only from here but across all dimensions of this galaxy. And as we do the healing work to track, to heal, and integrate every aspect of us, we integrate it all into this form, so that we can go to the next level. And this is a very profound evolutionary embodiment process where we get access to more and more levels of not only our soul, but our oversoul, monadic, and avatar levels on the highest levels. And we begin to remember who we are throughout all dimensions and beyond the firmament of this time space 12 dimensional construct into eternal time space. And then we start weaving that in, and it gives us greater access to gifts and abilities, psychic sight, quantum abilities to support others, and it all comes online. And then our true gift and mission codex comes on to another extent. The one thing I want to share before I pass it back is that there is a shift, especially for the men that haven't yet called in their divine feminine counterparts, who feel that that's their path. There's this devotional yes that needs to be anchored like a staff of light into the earth to one's dharma, mission, purpose, and this place where anywhere that we've been procrastinating, anywhere that we've been putting anything aside, everything just has to get stripped to this one moment, choice point, full commitment into that service path of, okay, God, divine, whatever name you have for that source connection, I offer myself to the greatest purpose that you have for me. Here are my desires. I trust that you'll bring them to me, but fill them. I'm not going to um, reserve a space before you and my purpose for some future or current partner. I am going to let you feel all of it. And then I'm going to trust that you will rearrange the architecture of my being so that there is a place for that union and divine timing. And then every day I'm going to take action that scares me. Every day I'm going to release the things I don't want to release that I'm being guided to release. Every day I'm going to listen. And for me, that was the accelerated path to meeting Saskia. So we wanted to share that with you. Do you want to share about the 5-step protocol?
Sure, yes. Yeah, sorry, I kind of went a little off track. There's so much that is interconnected with, this 5-step protocol, with our own journey and also with this architecture. So it's all kind of connected. So yeah, like I was starting with the first step, which is like the devotional template. We're also going to do a little short, activation, because that really is like the number one gateway to always make sure that we deepen and purify our devotional template again and again. It's like an ongoing process, both for coming into divine, but also when we are in divine union, like it never stops. It's really our gateway to ascension, basically, because it's like it's really like the key to all of our soul desires, which are one and the same with the soul parts that are coming back to us and creating this ascension process, which our divine union is one of the core soul desires, together with our divine soul mission. And that forms like this architecture of this like figure 8 here in the heart, this union, divine union chamber, and this divine mission chamber. So yes, the devotion is like the number one that we focus on in this 5-step process. Then the second one, it's all a bit interconnected. So like the second one is kind of restoring the faith and trust. But that one is also, deeply linked when we look at the architecture to the devotional template, because like restoring faith and trust is what helps us open and surrender more. So it's like whatever we want to call in as a true soul desire into our lives, we need to actually believe that it's possible for us, And because there was this core causal split with our beloved in, ancient timelines like Lemuria and Atlantis. And I mean, some of these splits have been like so on the phantom timelines, like just like so much deep pain and grief that it was sometimes too much for us to even want to remember what happened. A lot of us, most of us, like actually like blocked out the memory to a certain level because it's too painful. And so there's like things that happened in past timelines, and that might be also reflected again in this lifetime, that shattered our faith and trust, that it is possible to have this true divine love.
Or just an aspect. It could be just an aspect of our being that might not always be in our present, but still doesn't have faith and trust, that really got fragmented from a certain shock or trauma and is still existent. So it's not like all of us, but a little part of us, and we want to do the work to support the integration of that.
Right, yes. It's always about like missing soul parts coming back to us, reminding ourselves that, like, yes, we, it is possible. This is not like a fairy tale. Like, this is something that the forces that do not want these powerful divine unions that are here to create such a powerful transformation on this planet, they don't want us to actually believe, it's possible. They put out so much, distortion, conditioning of making us believe either, this is some kind of just a fairy tale that's not happening, that we have to like settle for, to something that's not truly deeply soul fulfilling, and that is just normal. That's what most people do. Or, they have also created like certain like polyamory like grids, or, try to hijack like our deepest soul desire with like some kind of ego desire overlay to make us feel like, maybe something that's feels more accessible for a certain reason. That there's like different, for everyone it's unique, that there's certain layers where we can deepen our faith and trust in what we truly desire, that it's absolutely not only possible, but it's like unstoppable for us when, we just come into like devotion and inner divine union. So this faith and trust element is also something that applies, of course, for those who already are in divine union, it might be, a part of you that has a lack of faith and trust that it's truly possible, that it's truly possible to create a deeper level of harmony and bliss, or, just in this purity, inner child joy frequency in your union, whatever you feel that you really feel is, an unmet desire. That faith and trust element is something that we put a lot of focus on. Then, another very, very powerful element, this is like the third element, is, our worthiness. That's where we go deep, deep into like the sacral, because like that is like, the monadic split happens in like the heart and the sacral mostly. So we do a deep, deep, like, like a cleanse of any like reversal patterns, like in the sacral, in the womb space, especially any feelings of like unworthiness, that we're not worthy of this level of divine love. Anything that we also took on of, like any dark feminine like reversal patterns or dark masculine reversal patterns that create these overlays and cause like splits. And it also kind of ties in with, the sealing that we do for this anti-hirogamic attack. That is a huge one that also prevents divine unions from coming together. And in then divine union, I can cause like separation. So, what we're here to not like teach about like these anti-life forces in a way that causes like fear or even blame in a disempowering way, but it's really like shifting into this state of like understanding like just the true facts that happened, of like the history on this planet, from a place of just understanding truth, of just having this awareness of truth, to understand like this is not just, when it's hard, it's not just because we're like somehow incapable in a way. It's really just because there is so much like, and there's another force here at play that, is getting into our leaks, and that's where the empowerment comes in. So it's not like in a way of like saying like, okay, using it as excuse, there's just like this attack, so we can't do anything. We always can do something. And this is kind of what sometimes, this anti-life forces, this what we can call like dark attack, is here to that we can use that as a really helpful pointer to see like why is it getting in. There's a reason in us, that there's a leak in us. There's something that needs to be sealed up. And in a divine union, it's really helpful to understand that we have to unite as a team, as this trinity between us, our beloved, and God. And if you are not yet in divine union, and it's then it's between your inner feminine, masculine, and God. It's always like a trinity. And so that is like really important, that we teach like how to become sovereign and free and sealed up, and how to cast off any of these like anti-life attacks, so we can really just connect back again in this sovereign, free, and sealed space. Also, activating the devotional template really just brings in like this Holy Spirit energy that protects us and blesses us. So these all these different processes are all interconnected. And then like the kind of like the number one most important one, of course, is with the heart. The whole union template in the heart, where we go deep, deep, deep into, that's also something both in the preparation process and in the divine union, that is something we cultivate. It's really like this inner divine union, this sacred inner marriage, and that connects also to us like healing our pain body. So we really are here to like share tools how you can like literally embrace every trigger that comes up as a doorway to your ascension, as a doorway to call back your missing soul parts, because you no longer fear pain, but because you know how to safely feel the pain with God, and bring into your heart exactly what you're in need of, so you can actually heal your heart deeply. And that is really like something that creates like a huge transformational shift, where you can really like just kind of surrender into the process of what comes up, because you have like the tools, like you have the way to transmute it together with God. And that is like what I call like, restoring the sacred emerald heart, because that kind of makes like heals like any reversal in the heart where the heart has been conditioned to, like, every time there's pain, like shut down, contract. And we when that happens, like, we go into this state of feeling victimized and powerless, and then deep pain, and then it can also create like these reversals of blaming our partner or God or ourselves, which really kind of disempowers us. But when we have a way to keep our heart open, to just safely feel all the suppressed emotions from the past, and also the ones that it's connected to in the present, it starts really creating like this profound heart healing. And that's something that needs to truly be mastered, is like emotional mastery, also to keep deepening our divine union. And so that is kind of like, I would say, the biggest one. And then the last one is kind of again in the womb space, or just a sacral space for men. This power that we truly have with our magnetism. Of course, the magnetism connects both to our sacral and our heart, but it's this magnetism of our desire, because both our pain, the ability for us to actually restore our sensitivity, what Lukai just spoke about, to truly feel, instead of using distractions, coping mechanisms, and numbing shields that we all, through our devotion, can start to dissolve. When we really say, yes, God, I'm ready to feel what needs to be felt, we can start dissolving that, and actually using both the pain and the desire, and pain in the heart from what's not there, that's actually a normal state. When we're disconnected from God, we are not okay without God, and we're yearning for something, to be reconnected with the missing soul part of ourselves, and with our monadic soul parts, which then reflect in our beloved on a deeper level, to connect deeper and merge together deeper. And the same goes with the soul desire, to really feel like this aching longing, not in a way that we're torturing ourselves, but really even knowing, trusting so deeply, because we feel worthy and we have this faith restored again, that it is unstoppable on its way to us, that we can really kind of feel like a simultaneous feeling of an aching of being like really like in this state of longing so deeply, and actually desiring it, allowing ourselves to not numb that desire, because that is truly our power, to magnetize it in. And really like allowing ourselves to deeply like, yeah, feel that longing and that pain in an authentic way together with God. And that really activates this magnetism, it purifies this magnetism, it releases all ego desire overlays that distort the magnetism. And we also have a very powerful process of creating like a like almost like a vacuum of everything that is like an anti-origamic magnetism overlay. So that really cleanses that out, and your like your organic magnetism is so incredibly powerful. It doesn't matter like where in the whole universe a missing soul part of yours is. This magnetism has like a specific soul song that is at that frequency that calibrates to exactly that match of yours. Be it your beloved, be it any other soul desire. Like, once you know how to really purify that magnetism, you can really absolutely accelerate this, what we call co-creation, this divine co-creation power that we all have. So yes, we're just so excited to share all that, and how this connects with the architecture, and how of course we discovered these points through our own journey that was really sometimes extremely intense and challenging, until we were initiated into like remembering more of these steps. And we're really just here to, we're just so grateful and excited for this honor that we are here to support more divine union couples to come together. We feel there's just a huge amount of divine unions that are about to come together in this time, because everything's been, as we've all been noticing, like accelerating so much. And these codes that we've cultivated, these it's taken us so many years and so much like intense initiations to receive these. And we're just like here to support those that want to go through like to have that support to go to it like in an accelerated way, so it can be with more grace, like we did not always have it so easy, but we really truly hope that these codes can help those who don't need to go it in that same, intense way that some of, divine union couples have to go through these initiations, and that we can just truly like pass on and transfer some of our initiation codes that came through to help like create like an acceleration to make it like easier and bring many more divine unions together and help them have like a more harmonious, just yeah, like monadic, like merging of coming back together into this true heavenly blissful harmony that we're just so feel so blessed that we managed to seal and cultivate in our union after the first year, where we had both bliss but also like, so much of the pain body had to get healed in the first year. And after the first year of our union, we managed to really like bask in this heavenly divine union frequency, like as kind of it's really like our default that we're in that state. And it's so rare that something, can pull us out of that heart space. Since we reached a certain level, it really does get so much easier when we seal the union to a certain level. It's incomparable. There, once the core wounds get healed through this process, there's only like minor kind of remnants that show up, but it's like a much more smooth process. And it's also just, what we've cultivated that really helped us the most, I would say, is like this understanding of these overlays that are the ones creating separation between us, and to actually refrain at all times from ever interacting when we see there's a trigger happening for one of us, that we realize, okay, we can only talk heart to heart, soul to soul. And if we're not ready to do that right away, like we've actually managed, so well to cultivate doing that in the moment right away when it happens. But sometimes it does require one of us to have an inner process with God and alchemize something first within, by having a little time alone, so then we can come together and really only speak to each other from that heart space. Because it's just, from our experience, so obvious that if we do not speak to each other from, our soul, our true soul essence, and we speak to each other from these overlay parts, these wounded parts, it, creates, it just spirals down into separation. So that's really been the most powerful key to us to create so much harmony in our union.
And I want to, for someone who's asking me to comment on this experience of attack, what do we mean by psychic attack? I just want to create an overview very briefly that there were beings who wanted to be their own creators, so to speak, and consciously disconnected from Source God, the emanation of all life, the rejuvenating creator point. And then they realized, oh, there is not infinite energy when I choose to separate. And the only way I can survive is if I parasite off others. How can I feed off others and maintain myself? And then they created elaborate energetic grids and systems called phantom matrices. Some of them were so sophisticated that they got the keys and the codes of ascension, the natural evolutionary process of ascension to higher realms, and then they inverted it, tricked other souls into it, tempted them, gave them promised things, disguised themselves as angelic beings, and then gave them some truth, some codes, some wisdom while they were siphoning that. So that's a description a little bit of the false light realms. And there's different kinds of forces that don't want unions to come together and thrive. One is more of the truly just, you can tell, you can feel and tell that evil is present. I don't know if you've ever felt the presence of a demonic energy, or you've seen someone who is possessed, or you can just see what happens, on this planet. You can see that love is not doing that. It's
Just
obvious.
duality,
It's obvious,
yeah.
what's there. And then there's the higher dimensional beings that disguise themselves as masters, angels, guides, and they're higher dimensional, meaning the reversal isn't just on a 3D zone. The reversal can be all the way up to an 11D zone, meaning higher dimensional beings, cosmic beings, galactic beings, that you would call like light beings or light masters, can also be operating from a reversal, so and operate in a way to siphon you, and do, in the civilizations that were in true harmony, divine union couples were guardians. There were councils of divine union couples that helped steward the harmony of civilization. It wasn't just that there's a king and he decides what's happening and then his wife is there sitting on the throne looking pretty. No, there was divine unions in the councils, often in councils of 12, different councils, and they co-stewarded, co-led, co-facilitated through a tone of equality, through a divine architecture. And that was broken, that was attacked very consciously, very connivingly, to break apart the unions, bring in these inverted structures, attack in different ways, and we can go on and on about that. That's very deep. But what we need to do now is just identify that is real, and through breaking through the firmament, creating our soul liberation, soul sovereignty, we are overriding all that's happened and restoring the true organic Edenic blueprints of what it is to exist in harmony with ourself, with our union, with our tribe. And we're rebuilding, we're restoring, we're bringing redemption back through our hearts onto this planet. And we're restoring a lot. Like when we remembered some of the things that have happened to us and to humanity, really brought a lot of tears. And I don't say that to scare anyone or anything like that, but to really invite you to, through the passage of whatever feelings that you've been avoiding, into the deep medicine that's beyond it. Because right on the other side of that heart wall and through that pain is an incredible medicine that you're here to bring. Every core wound that you have, on the other side of it is a key that you're here to bring. Everything has purpose, everything has reason, everything that can be healed, everything that was once fallen, and every path that you think you made a mistake or failed or did something, all of that can bring even greater glory as if it didn't happen when you go into the restorative redemption process and the healing process. And so we're going to offer a brief activation. Of course, we can't bring in this timing all, everyone through the full protocol. We have run this protocol 3 times before, and not only have unions come together, but people have had breakthroughs they were waiting for throughout their life. And I'm gonna share a couple of different people who have left their testimonials just to give a sense of what this work is about. I'll share one of them. Then we'll go into an activation. Then we'll teach a little bit more, share a little bit more, and then for those who want to hear about the full protocol, what it's like to go through it with us live, we'll share that with you as well. The first thing I want to do is share with you, beloved Stefan, sharing about going through the 6-week process with us.
Some of the best I've ever done in my whole life.
Going through the 6-week process. Well, there's a little delay in the Facebook. Okay, start over.
This work has been some of the best I've ever done in my whole life. I feel like it's been the completion of the last 50 years of my life. It has come during these weeks with you all, and I'm so grateful to Saskia and to Kajima. You guys are wonderful. And I will say what I said in the beginning. My desire was to have the radiance that you two have with someone, and I'm much closer to that now than I've ever been this whole lifetime, and I'm so grateful.
So there's someone who's not muted, so it made a little delay. I'm asking you guys to just mute. Someone who's not muted, so it made a little delay. I'm asking you guys to just mute. Miko, could you mute yourself, please? Thank you, dear. Beautiful. So what we're seeing here is layers that have been consolidated in lifetimes are breaking through this protocol, and we want to take you through one facet of it to give you a little glimpse and hopefully a breakthrough for your path, whether you choose to work with us or not. We really want to support you in your journey and take you through an experience, and then share with you a little bit more for those who are calling in your union of the state you want to be embodied in to accelerate that union coming to you. So we're going to open up and go through an activation together. It'll be brief, sweet. I'm going to invite you to open your heart. We're going back and creating this temple space, this beautiful divine union temple around us, this pillar of light flowing through this space. As we call forth the divine union alchemy blueprint down into our field, and we're going to share an element of it with you at this time.
Calling in Holy Divine Mother, Holy Father Arc, calling in our higher selves, activating everyone's 12th dimensional living light shield, casting out any remote viewers, trackers, any interference energies. So we want to start off by just dropping straight into our devotional template. So we're just going to first, before we do that, let's just take a deep breath and just start connecting to our body, to our heart, calling all of your energy to yourself. Taking 3 deep breaths to like really sink into your heart space, beneath the physical sensation of your heartbeat, of your chest rising with every inhale. Sinking deeper into like beneath even like your emotional feelings that are alive in your heart at this time. Allowing yourself to sink deeper into the innermost chamber in your heart, where you can feel like a vortex connecting your soul straight with the heart of God. You start to sense a part of you that's already living in that place, your higher self, that you can access straight through your body, through your heart, this connection to your higher self that's living in this deep state where all your soul desires have already been fulfilled, because you're in this beautiful inner sacred union, marriage with God. You're just in this infinite peace, the deep inner stillness, like a deep serenity, because your heart is just in overflow and abundance of everything you could ever ask for. Just taking a few more breaths, connecting to that consciousness, that state, that frequency. I'm using a little bit of light language to just bring these beautiful light codes of divine union, to just dispensate them throughout our field. So from this place now, we want to activate this emerald ray from our heart, this also beautiful rainbow and golden plasma light that's emanating out of our heart center from this inner still point. Just radiating it out into your entire field, helping your whole body surrender and relax. And from this place now, we want to just do a little upgrade on our devotional template. In our high heart, just you might want to place a hand, if you feel called to, on your high heart, between your heart and your throat. It's like your thymus gland. It also happens to be, connected to our immune system. It's like when this gland, this devotional flame, really opens, and activates, and the Holy Spirit comes in, that can really create immense healing inside us and around us. That's also what brings our immune system into, the absolute alignment with the divine intelligence, where, there's no more space for any illness in our body the more we activate this high heart. So it's all full spectrum, physical, emotional, spiritual. We are now connecting to this high heart, feeling just this flame. It really is a flame, a white blue flame called the Amoria flame. That is your own soul fire, your devotion. Just breathing into this flame, you might feel like a strong heat rising. This process, no matter if you have used this before, it's like something that can always be deepened and purified. So we want to just tap in for a moment, deep in ourselves, and tune in. At what level do we currently feel our devotion? And of course, for this masterclass, we want to focus our devotion on either those who feel like they're wanting to call in their beloved, this devotion to both your inner divine union, and that of course results in your outer divine union. So just that devotion to your inner divine union, to your coming into union with all of your own soul parts, coming back home to God, and ultimately your devotion to really feeling heaven on earth back inside your body, so we can start creating it all around us too. Feeling that devotion and just feeling, how deep, how pure, how strong do you feel this devotion, this soul fire? Both this element of the feminine aspect of surrender, to be like, how safe do you feel to surrender, to really be a vessel for God? How deeply can you trust that your soul desires are one and the same with the divine will, that actually God already wants exactly the same for you and has been waiting to bless you? And it's just about you releasing the control, or like this clinging to certain things that don't serve you, be it, things that give you a false illusionary sense of safety, comfort, pleasure, but it's actually at the same time trapping you in a state. It's not giving you the deepest true soul fulfillment. Just like take a little moment of inventory in yourself to just tune in of like, how deeply, on which level of devotion do you feel you're at the moment, from 1 out of 10, for your inner feminine, openness, trust, surrender to being a vessel to God. And then at the same time connecting to this masculine aspect of our devotion, the masculine part of that kind of flame, this fierce flame that's ready and willing to burn down any block standing in the way, no matter what it takes. That's willing to, feel emotions that, might sometimes show up as feeling uncomfortable, because we might be getting out of some kind of coping mechanism, comfort zone that has been holding us hostage, and it has been creating a block between us and our soul desires. So how is your devotion strong enough of not only this desire of wanting to bask in bliss, but are you actually willing to do what it takes? Be it, releasing certain habits, be it actually breaking a bondage between an identity overlay that you believe to just be your personality, that's just how you are, or that's just how your life is, or that's just what you believe about relationships, a false belief, a coping mechanism, an addiction. It's also like releasing the bondage to any addiction of our pain body, and just, giving it all up to God. Like, how willing are you to give God permission to truly clear out everything? And, even if this clearing part, requires you to feel something you might have not been wanting to feel, something you might have numbed yourself, or, use distraction or anything, like, are you willing to really deeply feel the pain of not having what you truly desire at this moment, because you're trusting that your willingness to feel, your sensitivity, is actually your power, is actually your gateway to God, and is actually going to bring you closer, is actually going to allow you to magnetize it in instead of actually numbing it and blocking it? Are you willing to open your heart and feel this devotion, this flame? Like, allow yourself to just now, through your intention has the power to purify and strengthen this flame. You can even experiment with it by feeling your intention, maybe something that I'm sharing, like helps activate this intention to become stronger in you. And, you might feel this flame actually, becoming hotter, becoming more strong and powerful in you. And, I want to use this Amaria flame now. Now we're placing God back on the throne of this Trinity architecture. This architecture between, our heart, our masculine and feminine aspect, but we're now transforming it into a triangle trinity facing upwards, placing God on the throne, giving God the reins to clear out all blocks in our field. Ishana amuria kiayan tiana sunya kia akya tiana yakiana munga kiana shia kiana. Using like the voice portal also to like clear out any like parts in us that need to soften and surrender and trust more, bringing in more of this beautiful magenta tones of the Holy Father arc that helps us remember it truly is safe to open our heart. It is safe to feel what we didn't want to feel and to surrender and trust no matter what happened in the past, no matter how it seemed like it's not safe and it was God's fault or God was not here to protect us. It was actually, certain forces making us shut our heart down so we couldn't be reached by God that always is waiting to bless us.
No matter what's happened,
Yes.
No matter what you've done, no matter how many times you think you may have made a mistake, failed, or whatnot, there is a opening, a redemptive choice point to converge back, to receive the forgiveness that's always been there gifted to you, to receive this new chance to spark what you truly desire, have what you desire, no longer needing to suffer, no longer needing to punish yourself, no longer needing to compromise, no longer needing to choose this over that, but to get to have the fullness of your life's highest vision. And this is offered to you from your own higher self. Will you forgive yourself? Will you receive your own atonement so that you can spark this devotional path to your highest life possible?
Yes, I deeply feel that, this element of actually once we open this gateway and, we start to feel this alignment taking place, there can be this emotion arising, like of being upset at ourselves, like why did we block ourselves so long from receiving that, literally like having to forgive ourselves for shutting our heart down and all the suffering that we experienced that we wanted to sometimes blame on others or on God, realizing like we have to forgive everyone we blamed, including ourselves, for blocking ourselves from receiving these blessings, and really opening our heart in self-forgiveness, bringing this beautiful emerald ray of the Holy Mother arc to our feet up, helping us create a soothing, just like, this beautiful like harmonic aqua sound field, harmonic aqua rays that are helping us soothe our heart. And at the same time, from the Holy Father arc, this magenta tones that are helping us open the heart, helping us feel safe to be really penetrated by this divine love that we remember is possible for us in every moment to receive it within, like opening the heart to receive this beautiful magenta rays, helping us feel safe to let God into the heart, help us surrender more, a little bit more, to believe it's truly possible to receive this divine love, no matter if we're, calling our divine union in, or if we are already in sacred divine union relationship and we want to receive like a higher level of divine love, experience like a higher level of bliss without constant like separation or interference, like truly recoding that in your quantum field through your heart to trust that this is possible, this is the divine design. We're just releasing all the parts in us that don't truly believe through all the experience or everything we've been conditioned to believe, that, you know, this is not possible for us. We have to release this attachment to be validated in this story, you know, and you know, trust that we need this devotion to return home, to be stronger than needing to be right about the old stories from the past, you know, that have only played out because our heart was shut down. It's like letting that really sink in and trusting that when we open our heart, that is the key. Opening our heart to God truly is the key. So just trust, allow yourself to lean a little more into that trust that the divine love your heart is yearning for, your soul is literally thirsty for, is here, is wanting to come into your heart, and that it truly is safe to open up to it more, as much as you feel safe to open. And as you open, you can start to feel how beautiful it feels to start deepening into this divine sacred marriage, connecting in your heart now, you know, allowing yourself to feel in this sacred marriage like both any leftover pain from anything you felt unmet and were lacking and have been felt like separated from in this lifetime, that you're wanting to call in, connecting that also to this deep desire, be it like, you know, uniting with your beloved, but like at least simultaneously use also that even deeper desire of how deeply you want to actually reunite with God within first, you know, use that desire always as a primary desire, and then add simultaneously also, you know, the desire of either uniting with your beloved or deepening into sacred harmonic just bliss and unity with your beloved externally as well, because we deserve to have both, you know, the inner divine union and the outer divine union. It's always like as within so without. We're not meant to have it just, you know, in one. And, you know, it's safe to actually yearn and long for both in the spiritual and in the physical, as we are in a physical body. So just taking now a few moments to really allow yourself to feel this, just any pain in your heart together with God, activating this sacred emerald heart. You allow yourself to, you know, strip any numbing shields, not strip, that sounds kind of harsh, but more like gently like dissolve to whichever layer you feel comfortable. Really feeling, allowing yourself to trust that you can safely feel it with God, and that is going to support you to receive it, because it makes your heart magnetic. It makes your heart and your sacral magnetic. You can feel the desire in your womb space and your sacral. It's like recoding your whole magnetism as you really connect to this deepest soul desire of uniting with God deeper, and, you know, with your monadic counterpart. Actually, you know, the deepest desire is always like a sensation we want to feel in our body. So really connecting to the sensation of this deep, you know, longing for this soul fulfillment that comes when you unite with your own soul, you know, parts that got split off, that truly belong to you. So trusting that it's safe to truly feel this desire like an ache that is like a magnet, feeling that aching like a vortex and magnet, and feel this purifying force sweep through your entire body. Also, as you feel like this Amaria flame that we activated at the beginning, we are spreading that also throughout our entire body, to all of our cells, to help purify us from any blocks, anything that, you know, needs to be brought into your awareness, that needs to be removed in order to make space for this upgrade. You know, yeah, if there's anyone here who has already, you know, reached, you know, in their mission like a huge milestone, and is now ready to call in, you know, their union, their true beloved, you know, trusting that it is safe. If, you know, anyone here had to like go to this experience of, you know, fighting for love, and, you know, or just like making things happen more in that like masculine energy for so long, that create like a hardened shell, that it is safe to like soften more into like, both this feminine surrender, but also this masculine energy that's ready to remove blocks. And then, of course, also when God gives you an energetic like nudge to take action, to like really trust and take action, even if it requires courage, or it takes you out of your comfort zone, to really just have that devotion be so strong, trusting that everything that's truly meant for you is coming into your path magnetically by you being just, in that state, that frequency of divine healing, but also taking action only from that place, not from like a wounded place where you're trying to seek something externally, but like from already being in that inner wholeness. Iya kiana amuria ashana kiatiana. Lea lua kiashana elohiria aquelia kiana tiana. Just feeling this beautiful aurora rainbow pink, magenta, but also like these aqua blue and green tones, creating like beautiful harmonic restoration in our fields. There's, of course, only so and so much we can do in one single activation, but I do already feel some powerful corrections happening in our architecture.
So I'm going to invite you to connect to your strength, your courage, your boldness, your bravery. And for many of you, there's going to be a leap of faith required to actualize the next phase of your life. Whether that's going to be actualizing your beloved or another level of your mission, whatever it is, it takes willingness to get out of the comfort zone, to take a leap, to really go for it. And your own higher self is going to be bringing you these opportunities to timeline hop to your highest timeline. And you get to be prepared for that, so you don't miss the window and stay on a certain timeline that is not for your highest good. And so for those of you that this applies to, get ready. Cultivate your strength. Cultivate your energetic structure that will hold you so you can get out of your comfort zone and go for it, whatever that is. And so feel your strength, feel the structure of your own inner masculine holding you as you get ready to align to your highest timeline. And get that feeling in your heart where you're willing. You're willing to do what's bold. You're willing to be so honest with yourself about what you're ready to let go of. You're ready to unplug from all false phantom timelines, all false ascension matrices, all false twin flame grids. Getting rid of all of the ways you've been filling your own voids, expecting something external to fill you, waiting, trying to do it yourself, trying to be so sovereign that you cut yourself off from the heart of all that is, and really willing to feel through it all, to make it home into the true embodiment of your fullness and the full yes to your mission and the full embrace of all that you are. So ground that down, even if it's not clear what it is, just ground the willingness, the conviction, the fire, flame activating in you a strength that pervades all time and space and breaks through the firmament to the highest octave of eternal power and glory, submitted to God's love and great service. This is your greatest tool to wield, to move through the obstacles and make it to the highest trajectory of your life's path, your highest timeline. Actualize it, grab it, harness it, say yes to it, and have your breakthrough here and now, where you jump to the highest passage and pathway of your soul.
Yes, and blessing everyone's heart and union template with this Holy Spirit energy of your devotion, allowing you to really receive the exact um, message for you in this moment right now. Like, what is it? How can you take your devotion to the next level? Both inside of you, as this holy fire, but also like what action steps, is God telling you to take in your life, maybe right now, to take your devotion to the next level. And yeah, also like I want to just help everyone like really trust that you deserve your divine union, you deserve this divine love, and also knowing like your divine union is your key to like this deepest inner soul fulfillment, to like liberation on an emotional level, in different levels, because your divine union is also like your ascension gateway. It is like your template to ascension. It is your template to creation on a higher level, between you and your beloved and God. And it's like you can take it like to a whole higher level of like this monadic co-creation template, and then as you braid more soul parts down, even like an avatar co-creation template, which gets more and more powerful. And so forth is also your organic, even abundance template, because together with your beloved, you hold a powerful mission, a powerful blueprint that is unique to you and your beloved, restoring heaven on earth. And this mission is also connected to your organic abundance template. Like the more purity we cultivate, the more devotion, and the more we really serve God, both through just the state of being in union and doing what it takes to our devotion to keep harmonizing it, but also through and the consequence of coming into this union and serving from that place of true inner union within, and with the beloved. From that place, this is also really what is going to restore abundance back to the people of God that are here to just serve and build the kingdom of heaven on earth. So we're just you know so excited for all the divine unions that are about to come together, and truly humbled and honored to support anyone who is just ready to be activated, or to receive certain key codes, or to be taken through this process, be it with us, with someone else, in your own way. No matter what is your highest alignment, like, trust it. And we are deeply excited to support unions in different ways. And just feeling like this deep gratitude in my heart for all those who have like that devotion to being on this hierogamic path that can be intense, but it's like the most rewarding, beautiful, sacred path that I know.
So allowing the flame of your devotion to spark and to ground, to anchor into your being as you choose your highest timeline, you choose your highest path, you choose the highest service you're here to render, and you choose the highest receptivity to your inheritance, to your gifts, to your prosperity, to your union, to all that your heart truly desires. Grounding it in, sealing all the work that we did, giving thanks. And so it is. Taking your time to feel present in your body, and whenever you're ready, you can open your eyes.
Mm. Mm.
Checking all your comments and just appreciating all of you, and just really excited for all that's unfolding, all the beauty that's
Mm.
unfolding, and all the beauty that has unfolded in this work. There's a process of unweaving from the phantom timelines and the false twin, grids and all the distortions, all of the karmic entanglements with previous partners. We really need to unweave from all of that on the deepest energetic level, and preparing ourselves and going through this process of restoration. And in that, we get to a place of greater neutrality that allows our magnetism to unfold. And we have we've had the honor of seeing the transformation that happens when someone goes through the full protocol, our 6 week protocol. And I want to share this one particular share because it really demonstrates someone who is willing to unweave from the collapse template and the seeking externally and the communion process, and then going through the proprietary processes of our divine union protocol. And what occurred for her, yes, she did meet her union, but even more than that, what's even more valuable for her is the sense of inner peace, that whatever happens in the external, she has that divine union connection.
Yeah, this is for those who are really curious how it feels like to be taken through this 5-step process and what it can do for you.
Hi everybody, my name is Jessica, and I wanted to share with you guys about my experience of taking Divine Union Alchemy with Lukaija and Saskia. I came to the course because I was in a false twin relationship that ended, and I wanted support. I wanted to heal what was in the way of my attracting in my true beloved, and I just really wanted to heal whatever dark pockets that there were that were still alive within me that were preventing me from aligning with my person. And what I experienced in the course was far beyond that goal. It was so much deeper than that, because what I received in the process of the course is a relationship with God and the ability to transmute my pain with God that I had never had access to up to that point. I think when I went through the end of my previous relationship, there was still this feeling of being overtaken by emotion and not knowing how to bring spirit fully into my body and fully into my experience, and truly how to heal subconscious and energetic based wounding from other lifetimes, other timelines, other dimensions, my lineage, the collective, my childhood, aspects of myself that had been split off um, that were really getting in my way and that I didn't know how to hold, that I didn't know how to be with. And so this course gave me the ability to truly learn how to be with myself and how to allow Creator to be with me in the deepest way. And so now when things arise, when intense emotion arises in my life, it's infinitely easier to know how to move with it and how to bring light even into the pieces that feel the darkest and the hardest to be with. And so it's opened up this immense joy and immense gratitude, an immense appreciation for all of the aspects of life, all of the flavors, all of the seasons, all of the parts of the cycle of life. And in the process, I aligned with a beloved who has felt like a gift to me, nothing but a gift. The utmost sweetness, the utmost reflectivity, the utmost respect, the utmost alignment, and that part of me in my heart that had been previously grasping for a partner and needing and wanting and hoping and wishing and longing and looking outside to be fulfilled by that has been replaced with this feeling of equanimity and okayness with the presence of this man in my life and the leaving of this man in my life, if that's what is in alignment, and just this feeling of real uprightness in myself and commitment to my own heart and to God, and this knowing that I will manifest and I am manifesting who I am, and that is all that I need. And so I just feel fully in gratitude to Saskia Makaita and so deeply appreciative of the course material and its depth and breadth. And I really do believe that many people would be highly benefited by working with this material and yeah, learning how to be in devotion to spirit first, and then allowing your beloved to find you. So that is my experience, and I'm so grateful. Can't thank everybody enough. Mwah.
She's an example of someone who got the the gift of her own sovereignty, her own wholeness, and the beloved came in. And the beautiful thing about the sequence of this process is you become okay with what happens because of your inner self-sourceness, and that allows things to happen in a very, very harmonious way, is when you're really okay with whatever is going to happen. Because, and then we can choose the highest timeline from that neutral wholeness. It's the best way to live. In my experience, it's a liberating way. It's a peace. There's relief. We've arrived. I've arrived. And that can happen. You don't need anything external to shift to have that happen in you. And that's the greatest gift of going through this protocol. And the main thing is that there's many layers that often we don't know about that are blocking not only ex-partners who can be in the field, but the way that the anti-hierogamic technology has created reversals in us. Saskia and I have developed through our quantum healing modality, quantum mastery healing, we've developed a way to clear them very rapidly. And so I'm just going to ask your permission, if we have permission to reveal our Divine Union Alchemy training that's coming up on January 17th, just in a few days. Just wave to us, give us your permission, or put a 1 in the chats, in the comments. Just let us know. Okay, beautiful. Thank you. Divine Union Alchemy emerged through the spark that asked us to share this protocol. And we've formulated it into a 6-week process that we take people through that includes what we mentioned and much more, in that there's very specific proprietary healing processes, transformation processes that go from the psychological, mental, emotional, and all the way to the quantum multidimensional spiritual healing levels that's required to restore the Divine Union blueprint, to restore the inner harmony, spiritual sovereignty, and get into a place where we're really ready to meet someone else from that restored structure of our being, and allow us to be magnetic to it, magnetic to that divine partner, unwoven from all those temptations and distractions that throw us off path, so that unions can come together. It's a very powerful protocol. We've taken 3 groups through it already, And on January 17th, we are going to be taking another group through it live. And if you go to our website, divineunionalchemy.com/course, you can read about the home study program, which we've converted our previous trainings into a home study program. But what's special about about going through it live, is that you get the home study program, and we're going to be going through on our own time different segments throughout the process. But when we meet together live on Zoom, just like this, we're going to be bringing the deeper level of that work, the new codex that's come in over the last years of us deepening this work. And we're going to work with everyone one-on-one within the group context to understand the specific things that need resolution, so that everyone can be liberated from the onslaught of distortions and attacks, and up-leveled into sovereignty at an extremely accelerated rate. And what's so beautiful about this is that anyone, even those who aren't so much into quantum healing, can receive benefit, can receive the full protocol, because it's very practical and it's very multidimensional at the same time. And I'm sure if someone studies the depth of this material, one could take themselves through the protocol slowly over time in their own way. But what we're offering is an opportunity to collapse time, to collapse months and most likely years of healing and therapy, so that we can get you through to this foundational structure in a more accelerated rate. And this is for those that feel the calling into it. And go ahead.
I just wanted to add, like, we really put in, everything that we have learned from, especially like so many blocks that we know are the most common blocks that happen between us, but also between like every divine union couple we've ever worked with the last 3 years, and any like person that we've coached and mentored and had supported on their hierogamic journey, where we just understand certain like blocks that are actually so very common. And we're just happy that we can kind of offer like the best mix of both like from our experience, like sharing the most common blocks and how to remove them, but also then we're always having like this interactive element in our live calls, where we always open to hearing like more unique new like feelings and blocks that might be in the way that we can then address as a group. And there really always is just such a beautiful like intimate container where people really have like a beautiful like this vulnerable like heart space where they feel safe to share, that creates like this really powerful group dynamic that goes kind of beyond even, I feel, in some ways it's even more profound than just like a private mentorship, because it shows us like how we all have like similar blocks and sometimes in unique flavors, but the group momentum is really powerful. It creates like this frequency of several people like coming into this like devotional space of wanting to deepen with God, and it just kind of magnifies like that power, that momentum to kind of be pulled into that kind of, it's like a divine union like vortex, to kind of have this as some kind of like pillar that we can always like have like this momentum that keeps going over like a 6-week period, or like even this course is going to be our first 12-week course, because Lukáš is probably going to say more about like this, going to include also how you can teach this to others.
Yeah, and so the first 6 weeks are going to be going through the protocol, and then we've added an additional 6 weeks for those who want to do the full practitioner certification, where in the second 6 weeks we're going to be taking you through learning how to hold the space, not only for yourself but for a partner or for clients, depending on what degree you would like to learn that. And you will learn how to basically take people through the psychologically and mentally and emotional healing processes, but also the quantum healing. So you'll be able to take people through each of the proprietary processes that we've cultivated, that we've developed. And we'll be going in the second 6 weeks also into the mission codex work, the deeper levels of aligning to one's purpose, and then bringing all the tools and trainings and quantum skill sets that we're going to transfer to you in order to launch your work or integrate it into your work, whether you want to be a relationship coach, whether you, or not, you're just wanting to integrate this into whatever business
We're
or
just
path
deeply
you're doing.
coded. You have this blueprint for, hierogamic union, not only for yourself, but we felt, this calling from God that there's so many that have this blueprint not only to deepen it in themselves, but to take others through. And this is how, we feel guided to just, increase this ripple of divine union, increase more unions of coming together. We're not, meant to be teaching like this alone. It's not like it's not really our own codex. It's God's codex of divine union that is kind of here to uplift like the whole old relationship paradigms of just regular relationship coaching to a whole new like little like divine union blueprint that's just so much bigger than us alone. That's meant to be, we feel like there's a certain group of souls that are like literally like coded to support many many more souls on this process, and we're just really excited for those who feel that calling in their soul, that alignment, that would love to step into this mission blueprint. And one more thing that I wanted to add is like, I truly believe that that is, what, that was one part of what brought me together with Lukaja. I feel like stepping into our mission, this is also another reason why we feel like it's so aligned that we're offering this like together, that to first take you, oh, we're just going to mute whoever. Okay. So to just, be able to first take you yourself through that process to really like anchor into this inner divine union frequency. Then from that place, just rippling that out and allowing you to step into that mission blueprint, because I truly feel that's what accelerated or even was like the final missing piece for me to co-create my outer divine union. When I stepped into this mission blueprint, it was part of my dharma. It was like part of what me and Lukasha were going to teach together, or part of our mission. So if it truly is an organic part of what you feel in your soul is a calling, like this actually learning to support others to come into that inner divine union, that is something that's always accessible to everyone. And we're always allowed to share these codes that we have mastered ourselves. Especially this inner divine union is something we can master at any time. And even if we're not yet in the outer divine union, it accelerates it so much, because it just is a deeper piece of who you truly are that you're like expressing with the world.
So what we want to do is share the details on how people can join. I want to share one message from someone who was through our last live training.
I highly recommend embarking on this journey with Lukaja and Satya. They're incredibly talented, compassionate facilitators with so much information, energetic downloads, and upgrades from a high celestial order. This is one of the most important works that I've ever been involved in, and has greatly supported me in deepening my devotion, my sincerity to my purpose on this planet, to my willingness to actually be here on this planet. And this course has addressed some of the most delicate and vulnerable and powerful aspects of who and what I am. And I will be working with those ongoingly. And the activations that you'll be given access to is material that you'll be able to use for the rest of your life. So I couldn't recommend it enough to anybody who's on the fence. So much is covered that I can't fit into this testimonial, but inner child healing, reclamation of who and what you truly are, the embodiment of your purpose, your place in this council that is forming for the restoration of this planet and for humanity and consciousness in general at large. So thank you so much to both of you for holding this space and this container, and everybody who feels called to join us. Bless your journey.
It's a beautiful message of this work. And My system of life mastery was incomplete till I met Saskia. She carries such incredible tools of how to transmute through the heart space, this devotional activation. And when we clicked together, it was almost like a system completed. And now we're transferring this life's work that we each carry these keys of, and we're transferring it to others to receive and plug in. And it's really, really catalyzing something very powerful, very beautiful, very exciting. And we're so honored to be able to support this. And so I want to share with you that starts on Tuesday, January 17th at 12 noon Pacific time. And we'll be going a full 12 weeks, but participants can also just join the first 6-week process as well. We're going to be meeting Zoom about 2 hours, but it'll likely go over for Q&A to work with people. And the investment is $2,500 for the first 6-week protocol, or $5,000 for the full 12-week certification process that includes manual and training and all of that. And what we're offering, we have about 3 leftover partial scholarships, which bring the full price down from $5,000 to $4,000, or from $2,500 to $2,000 for the 6-week protocol. And so if that calls to you, if you get a yes in your heart, if you want to really be on the accelerated path and receive our life's work and have us transmit that to you through this process, I'm going to invite you to reach out to me and Saskia at Divine Union Alchemy at gmail.com, and just put Divine Union in the subject line, and the first 3 people will get those partial scholarships, plus a few more bonuses. We have a couple of bonuses for those people who are coming in. And we have a question coming in from Christian. Does your program work 100% of the time with everyone merging physically with their divine beloved within a year? Or did it only work for a few people that went through your program? So 100% of the time, everyone merging with their divine union, we can't guarantee that. It just can't happen unless...
It depends on your devotion.
On everyone's devotion. And there is a time sequence. We've had many people who've gone through the unions, and we haven't kept up with everyone as far as that, but we are building a divine union network.
Yes.
And so, Christian, it really, really depends on a couple of things. One is the devotional practice. One is, are you listening to where you're meant to go? Are you all in? Are you willing to take risks and take leaps? And there is a divine timing to it as well, but it's not the way that it's normally phrased. There's not an actual waiting. It's you click into it during the work, and it's done, and then the allowance process happens.
It's like that whole kind of longing and waiting for the external beloved dissolves, because you're actually already receiving that inner divine union, which 100% accelerates you coming into your outer divine union. Like, we cannot put any guarantees, because it really is, how deep is your devotion, how willing are you to remove, give God permission to remove blocks. But like, actually everyone we've ever worked with in this definitely reached like this deeper state of divine union, and we were truly actually deeply touched and blown away by the amount of unions that did come together. Some of them even during the actual course. Like, I mean, it really depends. Some people had like, the timing really depends on, is 100% proportional to your level of devotion. That's what I truly learned. Like, how instantaneous, which is also how miraculous our blessings come in, is like how deep and strong is our devotion, because that is the level of, how deep are we willing to surrender to let God remove these blocks that are in between us and our blessings, or our union with our beloved. So it's like, if we're still like stubbornly clinging onto something, it can't come in. But if we truly become like these empty vessels, like some people manage to even meet their beloved during the course. Some people, we got messages like after, a few months or weeks after. Some people, that we no, it took like a year or something, and we just, deeply feel humbled by them, just sharing with us like how deeply our course, accelerated it for them and helped them receive it already within.
Sometimes there's something that we need to give ourselves all to before the union is ready, meaning we have our mission template, we have a personal passion project that we need to offer ourselves all to and emerge into it. And when a part of us is saying, okay, well, I'll do this when I meet my union, or I'll do this when this or that happen, or if there's any part of us holding on, it creates a kind of stalemate in between zone. And some people get caught into that. What the other thing that we didn't mention earlier, what doesn't work, which I tried, is trying to kind of do this kind of shortcut. Like I used to invest in a lot of twin flame activations, or I had a sense of just a little entitlement towards life, and um, and I wasn't really willing to fully invest my heart, mind, soul, everything into the pathway of actualizing my inner union template. And we counter that a lot with people where there's something they're not willing to do. There's something they're not willing to let go of. There's a comfort zone that they're not willing to jump out of. There's an investment that they're not willing to make. And I'm not just talking about financially. I'm talking about in the depth of their being into this divine union path. It really, really takes a huge leap. Before I met Saskia, I was asked by my higher self, by the divine, to let go of a couple of things that were very hard for me to let go of. I was also asked to join this training, program that in my ego mind, it was like, what? It's not for me, that this training is not for me. And I don't want to invest, the last of my savings in this training program. So I said no. And I got the message, okay, the next day I got it again, do this training. No, I got it again 3 times, do this training. And I went into the training. Saskia was in the training. That's how we met. That's how we began working on each other. And I wasn't really going in so much to get what the training was to give me in that particular context, but I was going in to meet her. So sometimes we're going to be asked to go places and do things that we're going to resist. And so it's just a matter of everyone really, really, really listening to their highest path. I had last story, I had a client who really, we worked with her around her wanting to meet her union. And the biggest thing was the lack of faith that it would happen, and yet this deep like longing that it would happen, and this numbing shield around it. Oh, I don't really need it, it's too late, but I really want it, and I want it so much, and I'm so in pain that it's not happening, that I'm going to keep a little tie to one of my exes who thinks I'm the one, just a little energetic sliver that's soothing me. At least someone wants me. And so we had to go in, release that person fully, confront the feeling of the emptiness and the pain of not having that crutch, take her through the process of really coming into the foundation of her own wholeness, become totally okay when and where it's going to happen, and just go live life from that place. And my ego would have preferred, in the time period we were working together, that 3 months, that she met her partner. But it took much longer. I think she wrote me about 6 or 7 months later and said, it happened. And it happened through the synchronicity of me being in alignment with my purpose and my path. So my feeling is everyone on a divine union path who knows and feels that it's in alignment for them to meet their divine partner and goes through the specific steps that we are sharing and processing, and clicks into that and maintains that and listens, will converge with their divine union partner in that right timing. in a beautiful way. And for some, it happens sooner, some it happens a little longer. Does anyone have any other questions to share with us? We're happy to answer your questions either about the course or anything that's relevant to this topic of divine union. Yeah, you bring her. You're gonna bring her here? We'll bring our daughter Alea. So Leah's asking, how did you know that you were the one for each other? Saskia knew when she saw me on Facebook. She had already cultivated her inner devotion so strong that in her body, it was just like, oh yeah, that's him. She had this feminine knowing that was just part of her offering herself to God's source. She just knew. And then there's another question which I'll try to answer both at the same time. The other question is, what's the easiest way to know it's a false twin or some kind of interference? What are important signs?
Okay, well, I'm kind of really good at answering that one because I went. Or do you want to say something too?
Hi, Mar. I just want to share quickly how I identified her, and then we'll go into the false twin description. So. When we were doing work together, I remember because I have access through my training. I have access to the Akashic timeline. I can read Akashic and I can know my own history, my soul history, and other people's soul history. And so I could see that her and I were actually together in Lemuria. But for me, what does that matter? Okay, we were together in Lemuria. I have other people, karmic soulmates I was together with. It doesn't mean anything, doesn't mean it's my union. My ego was rejecting it, and what it took for me is us coming together in the physical. And when we met in the physical and I was getting the signs, and I was actually being told, because I meditate each way in a very specific way that allows me to open and listen. And so I get messages from that communion point, and I just heard, I knew, okay, this is your one. I rejected it so many times over the course of the first few days until it just was just like, it was almost like the divine presence was offering her to me. This is for you. And then I kept giving it back. No. And then it was just given to me so many times that I just surrendered. It's not that I didn't want it. It was that there was fear in my heart still, even though I didn't realize. And it was an intense thing to realize that which you've been calling forth is finally here. It's right in front of you. And parts of your ego know, by receiving this, I'm going to have to go. I'm going to have to dissolve. There's aspects of me that knew when I recognized her that they would soon go through a metamorphic ego identity process, death, and they didn't want to accept. So it happens in the heart knowing. It happens in that divine knowing. And you can be tricked in false twin templates. How do you get tricked? And what's the differences in the energy template and feeling between a true union and a false twin? Let's go into that. You want to start it off?
Okay, well, I mean, just like there's so much we can share on that, because I mean, there's literally so much to this question that I want to share. I don't know if I can touch on everything now, in this masterclass, but let me try and get to the most important points, because as I shared, I have been in a 3-year false twin flame relationship, and just a few months later, to this powerful devotional and inner divine union upgrades I came so quickly into my true divine union, and we got married after just 3 weeks, and our mission took off. Everything just took off so fast and accelerated. And from all of my experience, like, I've had so many more revelations and insights now of being able to support others to understanding, like, the difference between, like, the true monadic genetic equal soul counterpart, or we could even call it twin flame, but it has been hijacked and distorted with that false twin flame, new age, just like reversals. So the difference that I truly feel is the most important is, you know, with your true beloved, first of all, like the way you call them in is you have already healed within yourself, like this devotion, this inner union. So you don't call them in from a collapsed devotional template, where you were actually trying to receive something externally. Like that's how I had to be really honest with myself when I woke up from this massive delusion of thinking I am already in a divine union, to then waking up and realizing like how under a spell I was. Like I had to be really honest. Like when I entered that relationship, I was not aware yet that I was trying to source something externally, and I was actually doing that. Like most people operate from that romantic template where I was hoping this person would truly give me the soul fulfillment I was yearning for. And I was thinking like, you know, if I just get him to do this, if I just get him to be more present, more devoted, to choose me, to all those things, I will be happy. And that's how I was operating, and that's what was constantly, you know, giving my power away, to constantly collapse into my pain body. So that's like the number one, where you really have to be honest. And are you magnetizing them in from this inner place of wholeness, or from like a wounded place? Then, you know, because of those two elements, that you have that devotion and this inner union, when you truly are taking yourself through this process, because of that, that's like what brought you together. That's like a divine union really is, as the name says, like a union that's been united by God, because you're making yourself into this empty vessel. And when that happens, your whole union is founded on, you know, your beloved will have that same devotion and that same, you know, like that same, literally you will recognize it, because it's like that same feeling of this, you know, eternal, pure, divine love that you feel when you go into this still point, this 0 point. You know, that's not like some kind of hot and cold energy. You know, it's like you're going to recognize this feeling of relief, instead of this like roller coaster exhilaration, like feeling that is present in trauma bonds, where your ego like overlay is kind of getting a hit, because you're like soothing something that actually needs to be filled within, that's giving you kind of like almost like a dopamine hit. And it's like your true union is giving you this like more like this peace, this serenity, this relief, you know, because you're already like, oh, it's like something that is eternal. That's kind of what it is. And you know, the thing that you never, this is like how you recognize, like this thing that you never have to do with your beloved or fight for, is like you never have to fight for their devotion and their love. I mean, when I say never, it's like, yes, we do have like certain overlays that can come in between, but on a you will truly know that it's your beloved when, even if they do have very, you know, short, like if they have like certain moments where they have to reach a deeper level of devotion, a deeper level of inner divine union within themselves. It's like there's a deep like presence of devotion and, you know, this union with God in the relationship. It's like you will notice that, you know, God is a holy trinity present in your relationship from the start. How you even got brought together, it'll be apparent that God is part of this relationship, and that God is always your go-to that you're seeking in the relationship. And even if, you know, sometimes our ego personalities, you know, have to be reminded of that, you know, in certain moments, how to come back to this, it's going to be clear that they're willing to grow, they're willing to dissolve, they're, you know, they're willing to protect what is sacred. They're willing to protect your heart, and they're rather sacrifice their own, you know, ego overlays to become a better person, to protect your heart, because, and also to be reborn again into who they truly are. It's like this constant like rebirthing process that happens, and that like both will have that devotion to like not wanting, you know, or you know, needing to stay the same, that we're really willing to keep growing together. And, you know, even if it takes us out of our comfort zone again and again, like we're really in that devotion together. And that's really what is the whole biggest difference for me. And that this is why it kind of is like also a reflection of this inner divine union template that we put so much focus on correcting, because that will then be mirrored in your union. And that is like then the key when you are in a union with someone who's willing to grow and is willing to, every time there's some kind of triggers, willing to go to God and actually listen to God. How can I give up some things, a false belief, and how can I receive your truth, God? It's always going to bring in more harmony into your relationship, more growth. And yeah, that's really, I feel it. That's kind of like how you can sum it up, I would say.
And the process of going through this divine union alchemy protocol will kind of snap awake your counterpart, whether you're with them or not. It'll activate them. Oh, that's our signal that we're getting ready to go.
Yeah, it's because you really meet in the heart of God. If you go back into the heart of God through your own heart, then you're kind of already in that union with God, and that energy of your beloved, you're already receiving that fulfillment within, and it's kind of just literally like rebirthing yourself into that version that is the absolute counterpart match to your physical beloved. You're becoming that exact match for your beloved, and it's such a strong pull. Like, it will happen. It's just like the law of one of the quantum field, that it's just a rebirthing in the quantum field into who you truly are, which is you in a higher state of evolution, where you have like reconnected with these monadic parts of yourself.
We're so delighted to have connected with you. We send you all of our love.
So much love to you.
For those that feel called to join, email us at divineunionalchemy
Yes, if you have any more questions.
gmail.com.
Yes, if you have any more questions, just feel free to message us. We're also still doing some last minute consult calls for those who want to explore, the alignment. And, if you really are sincere about joining or just finding out, like, we also offer, some brief like scans in your field for potential blocks, and are just really happy to support you in whichever way is in your highest soul alignment.
We love you. We send our love. And we look forward to seeing you soon. Aloha.